The camera zooms in on a strange aircraft streaking across the Ukrainian sky. At first glance, it looks like something ripped straight from the history books, a relic of World War II, a German Junkers dive bomber reborn in 2025. But this is no museum piece. It's bristling with missiles, carrying bombs under its wings, and prowling for prey. What is this mysterious machine? Why is it flying so low it nearly scrapes the treetops? And why are Russian drone operators suddenly reporting that their unmanned killers are being hunted by what looks like a crop duster? This is not a gimmick, not a parade prop. This is Ukraine's latest experiment in turning unconventional aircraft into lethal tools of modern warfare. And while it might look strange, the results could change how low-cost air defense is fought. But that's just the beginning. The debate now raging in military circles is whether Ukraine should go even further by putting one of the most feared close air support aircraft in history into the fight. The A-10 Warthog, the flying tank killer, is about to be retired by the U.S. Air Force. Many experts say Ukraine should take them before they're scrapped. The question is, will they get them in time? The image that first caught attention online was baffling. A low, rugged, propeller-driven aircraft that, from certain angles, looked eerily similar to the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka, the infamous German dive bomber of World War II. But upon closer inspection, it wasn't a war relic at all. It was a Polish-built agricultural aircraft, heavily modified for combat. The telltale sign? A turboprop engine instead of the standard piston type. That means it runs on jet fuel, offering more reliability, a smaller engine profile, and faster throttle response. And hanging under its wings, not crop-spraying tanks, but P-73 air-to-air missiles, and what appeared to be small bombs or possibly additional fuel pods. This wasn't a farmer's plane anymore. This was a fighter. It's not designed to take on Russian Su-35s or MiG-31s in high-speed dogfights. Instead, its mission is clear. Hunt slow-moving aerial threats like the Iranian-made Shahed drones Russia has been sending in waves against Ukrainian cities. Why is this so effective? Because drones like the Shahed fly low and slow. Traditional fighter jets, such as Ukraine's MiG-29s, have to reduce speed drastically to engage them, putting the pilot at risk. There have been incidents where debris from a destroyed drone damaged a pursuing jet, even forcing ejections, as happened to one Ukrainian pilot who barely survived. A slower, lighter, more maneuverable turboprop aircraft changes the equation. It can match the drone's speed, close in safely, and destroy it without risking the high-tech jet or the pilot's life. And flying at extremely low altitude, it could even evade Russian radar, sneaking deep into enemy airspace to strike key installations. But such missions would be one-way tickets, too risky for a manned pilot unless the threat justified the sacrifice. This isn't Ukraine's first attempt at using non-traditional aircraft for drone hunting. Another example is the Yak-52, a Soviet-era sports and aerobatic trainer aircraft. Ukraine has deployed them for both pilot training and, in desperate times, intercept missions. In one unusual adaptation, the Yak-52 carried 2 crew members, a pilot up front and a tail gunner in the rear, armed with a rifle. The plan was simple: fly up behind a drone and shoot it down manually. But the reality was far more dangerous. The Yak had to get extremely close, increasing the chance that an exploding drone would destroy the aircraft as well. And that's exactly what happened in some cases. One Ukrainian pilot, call sign Kamikaze, tried to intercept a Shahed over Odessa in a Yak-52. The drone exploded at close range. The aircraft never made it back to base. The problem isn't courage, Ukrainian pilots have that in spades, it's the platform. Without mounted machine guns or proper targeting systems, such missions become a gamble with extremely low survival odds. Even Russia's own attempts to modify Yak-52s by adding radars and short-range weapons like shotguns have been met with ridicule. A shotgun on a wing may look inventive, but it's nearly useless against a fast, maneuvering drone. So what are the better options? One candidate is the Brazilian-made A-29 Super Tucano. It's a rugged, reliable light attack aircraft, already in use worldwide for counterinsurgency and training missions. It carries machine guns, can be armed with rockets or bombs, and uses a turboprop engine, making it both fuel-efficient and easy to maintain. The A-29 also requires less pilot training than advanced jets like the F-16. That means Ukrainian pilots could be ready for combat missions in weeks, not months. It could fill a critical gap, intercepting drones, supporting troops on the ground, and even targeting Russian positions when air defenses are weak. Another option is the AT-6 Wolverine, made by Beechcraft. Similar in role to the Super Tucano, it can carry precision-guided munitions, glide bombs, and laser-guided ordnance. Both the AT-6 and A-29 could operate closer to the front lines than high-speed jets, and their slower speeds make them ideal for pinpoint strikes. But the aircraft that looms largest in this discussion isn't Brazilian or American-made light trainers. It's the legendary American tank buster, the A-10 Warthog. The A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known as the Warthog, is built for a job Ukraine desperately needs done: close air support under dangerous conditions. It's heavily armored, can absorb massive damage, and still keep flying. Its enormous GAU-8 Avenger rotary cannon can shred armored vehicles, and it can carry a huge variety of bombs and missiles. Here's why it matters for Ukraine. Russia has pulled many of its air defense systems further from the front lines, fearing Ukrainian drone strikes. This creates an opening for aircraft like the A-10 or even the AT-6 to operate more safely over Ukrainian-controlled territory and deliver precision strikes on Russian ground forces. Unlike fast jets, the A-10's slower speed is actually an advantage for accurate bombing and strafing runs, and its short takeoff and landing ability means it can operate from improvised runways far from major bases. The timing is critical. The U.S. Air Force plans to retire the A-10 in 2026, grounding them permanently. If Ukraine were to receive them, it would need to begin pilot training now. The aircraft is less complex than an F-16, meaning training time could be shorter. Critics argue that close air support aircraft can only operate if a country has air superiority. That's often true, but not always. In Ukraine's case, Russian jets avoid flying directly over the front lines, wary of Ukrainian Patriot missile systems. Instead, they launch standoff attacks from a distance, such as Su-34s dropping glide bombs and retreating before Ukrainian missiles can engage. This leaves a window of opportunity. Ukraine's own Su-25s, another close air support jet, already exploit this gap. The A-10 could do the same, but with far greater survivability and firepower. And with Russian radar coverage increasingly degraded as Ukraine destroys key systems in Crimea and elsewhere, the chance of slipping an A-10 into contested airspace without interception grows. The war in Ukraine is increasingly defined by drone warfare, artillery duels, and long-range strikes, but the role of manned aircraft hasn't disappeared, it's just evolving. General aviation aircraft converted for combat, like Ukraine's Junkers, fill one niche: low-cost, low-altitude interception of drones. Light attack aircraft like the A-29 or AT-6 fill another: flexible strike capability against both drones and ground targets. And heavy hitters like the A-10 could change the ground war entirely, providing precision support where artillery can't. With the U.S. preparing to mothball the A-10 fleet, the clock is ticking. Ukraine's allies must decide: will these war machines fade into history, or will they be given a final mission against a modern invader? One thing is certain: Ukraine has already shown it will use whatever it can get its hands on, from crop dusters turned into missile platforms to retired trainer planes, to defend its skies. If given the Warthog, it might just write the aircraft's most legendary chapter yet. A strange, low-flying prop plane that looks like a ghost from World War II, trainer aircraft turned into desperate drone interceptors, a retired Cold War tank killer that could roar into the fight once more. The skies over Ukraine are changing fast, and the next aircraft to appear might not just look different, it might tip the balance.